Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. We have two entrepreneurs coming on this evening that are looking for our advice, our support, perhaps insights, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could also contribute. Whatever channel you're listening to this broadcast on this evening, my team and I will be monitoring the comments. So if you have any questions or points to give to the entrepreneurs we're helping this evening, any suggestions, network contacts, anything you can do to help these entrepreneurs along with me this evening would be awesome. Now, you guys all know that this platform is designed to help 1 million people start a business of their own. We've helped 75 people so far, but it's not just help people start a business of their own, it's also help people grow their businesses, help people not to feel alone when they're building businesses. I know myself, having built 18 companies, that it can be very lonely being an entrepreneur, which is strange because I believe the entrepreneurial community is very open, and often we feel that we must do it ourselves, almost as if it's part of the entrepreneurial burden. It's not. There's help out there. I always think that the strongest people in this world actually ask for help. So if you need help with your business, or you have an idea and you want to figure out how to make it happen, feel free to reach out to us. We will never charge to help you. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to help you for free. All we ask is that if you are successful, later you come on and help through our Helping Entrepreneurs Network, and you do the same. Give back when you can, help the people that are coming up through the system, as we are trying to do today through the Purposeful Project. Now, I just want to quickly mention a few things. And a lot of people ask us, how do we help? And one of the things we do, of course, is sessions like today where entrepreneurs will come on, ask their questions, and we as a collective will help. In addition, we do one-on-one 15-minute sessions each week. And if you want to get a 15-minute session with me or other entrepreneurs in our network, just go onto the Purposeful Project in the link below and sign up. It's very simple. And again, there's no cost. And so if you need that help, feel free. In addition, we also make all sorts of different elements of content, often based on the questions that you've asked us, like how to raise money or how to find a co-founder, or any of these things that come up quite regularly. We have made content that we think might be answering those questions for you. And so sometimes they're 5-minute videos, sometimes they're 20-minute videos, but you'll find them all via my website, simonscribb.com, and of course on my YouTube channel, simonscribb, or youtube.com/simonscribb. So it's all there, it's all free. We do make money through YouTube and TikTok, and so that is part of our monetization, but we at the moment are giving away the income we're making on social media to anyone that wants to start a business. So if you want to win my social media income, simply drop a comment below with why you need it and what you'd spend the money on, and we will pick a winner each Monday. So we've been doing that now for about 6 months since we've been making a little bit of money on social media. So yeah, do let me know if anyone needs it. We also have a podcast series. Who doesn't these days? But our podcast series is purpose-driven. We call it, we think we're a purpose cause, not a podcast. So I think the ultimate goal for us is to almost have mentorship at scale. So every time we interview someone, we interview the world's most successful entrepreneurs. They share their knowledge and insights with you, which is like sitting with them for an hour and picking their brain. So if you've missed any of our episodes, don't worry. They're all still up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, of course, on YouTube. You can grab them all through the podcast website, goodluckpod.com. You can also sign up there to get our e-newsletter, which is every week we send out information about what's happening in the entrepreneur world, what the latest trends are, free business ideas. Of course, we also let you know what videos we've recently made that might be useful, as well as make sure the podcast that we put out each week gets to you in your inbox. So please go sign up to our mailing list. I think it's useful. Our podcast tomorrow is with Stefan Galav. He is a VC. He's an entrepreneurial VC, which I really like, having people that have the understanding of how to raise money or how money is raised and have an entrepreneurial slant to them. He's the VC that handles a lot of the Dragon's Den deals. So he works for the Dragons, works with the Dragons to get the deals done. And so if you're looking to raise money, for example, and want to understand the mindset of the investors and the people that handle the deals for the investors, then he's a great person to listen to. He's got a fantastic personal story that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. So we are live tomorrow at 12. Oh, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. We're live Friday at 12:30. And you can join on any channel, but if you join on YouTube in particular, then you can join the Q&A. You can ask questions in real time. Myself and Stefan will be there to answer them for you. In addition, if you are on YouTube, hit that reminder button so you know when we go live, so you guys get to be a part of the actual in real time conversation and ask your questions if you do have any. Finally, a couple of things. If you missed it, we had a dragon from Dragon's Den on recently, Nick Jenkins. His podcast is mind-blowing. He sold his business Moonpig and personally put in his pocket £42 million. He talks about that experience. I think you guys will love it. The two entrepreneurs we have coming on today, this format is they have 15 minutes each to tell us what's going on and us try to answer questions. And at the end of the half an hour session today, we will then take questions from the audience. I have a Discord channel where questions are already dropping in now. So you guys, and if you want to drop in a question either in the comments, my team and I will see it, or you can go on Discord, link in my bio, and drop a comment inside the Discord system. After we've spoken to these two entrepreneurs and helped them, we will then go to questions and try to help you guys out there if you do have anything you need. So just finally, do me a favor, wake up the algorithm. If you're listening to this, click like, do share. If you think anyone's going to enjoy entrepreneurial stories and helping entrepreneurs, or wants to get some knowledge around entrepreneurship, maybe thinking of starting a business, we always say don't wait for a job, create one for yourself. You don't have to build the next Facebook. You can just build a business you love. So we have 2 webinars coming up. Again, all of what we do is free. We are here to help you. We're not going to ever upsell you anything. We don't want anything from you. We just try to give you knowledge so that you can get through this difficult time. So we have a webinar, how to start and scale a business. And we go through the basics. I've got some incredible people giving their time up for free on this webinar. Again, you can sign up via simonscribb.com. We do have limited spaces because Zoom charge a lot for their webinars. And so please sign up as soon as you can to make sure you don't miss your spot. But we will be talking about how to start and scale your business. So if you want any help, join up. In addition, we have a webinar coming up around TikTok. I have personally 230,000 followers on TikTok. So shout out to my TikTok followers. I'm live with you guys now. I know that. So hello. And I really believe TikTok has a lot to offer. I have personally made friends on TikTok in the last 6 months. And one of those friends I've made is a TikToker with 5 million followers, a guy called Mark Tilbury. He's been on my podcast show. He's an incredible individual, a very successful business person who's now giving back and helps people understand the financial world, particularly motivated around helping people become financially free. He will be joining me on this webinar, and he's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube, 5 million followers on TikTok, and an all-round pretty amazing and interesting person, very giving. You will really enjoy the webinar with him and I. I think you will get a true insight into TikTok. So please do join. Again, link in my bio or link in this broadcast you can see for the Purposeful Project. You can sign up to that webinar for free. Again, limited spaces because Zoom wants to charge a fortune if you want to accommodate too many people on these webinars. So finally, again, I give away my social media income. And so you guys, when you give me, I got a dancing man on TikTok the other day, and when you give me tokens and gifts like that, I don't need that money. That's not why I'm doing this. It's not to make myself lots of money on social media. I'm doing it because I genuinely want to help people. So I feel like giving my social media income away right now is the right thing to do. And so hopefully you guys tell me in the comments why you need that income, and I will pick a winner on Monday. I pick a winner every Monday that gets that money to do what they want to do with their lives and get a little bit of a leg up. So without further ado, I would like to bring on our first entrepreneur, and hopefully we're all good with the sound. Let's see what happens. Maureen.
Hi, Simon. How are you? It's so nice to see you. I've loved your content.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to have you here. And,
thank you. I have a question that relates to starting a business from the bottom. And I'm very interested in writing. So over the past year, I've been doing some side work. And so I've helped entrepreneurs write their books. I've written blogs. I've done email content and web content. And then I'm starting to look at social media. The problem is I like them all. What advice do you have for what's coming up or what might be needed in the market to help the most people?
Yeah, it's a typical entrepreneurial problem. You like them all, right? I mean, you're taking care of these existing opportunities. Which one do you think, if you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
I really like working with entrepreneurs. I think it's fun to see their story. I remember seeing your story, how you were homeless at 15 and how you came in to do what you do. I think it's some of the most useful content for other people to learn about and read about. And it might not be in books, but it might be in web content too. But that's something that I find personally very exciting to look at.
Because I personally think it's good to focus. You hear it a lot, right? It's good to focus, because if you get one thing kind of really working, then you can do these other things. You know, so I've started companies where I brought someone else in to run them after they're working. You know, and that's given me the freedom to go do these other things that I wanted to do. But what would you actually do? What was your focus in the entrepreneur sphere?
It would be looking at content, definitely writing content and looking at trying to bring the best stories out for entrepreneurs and people who want to write their story or tell their story somehow. I've been good at that, and that's the one thing that has crossed all of the things that I've done. All of them are about getting somebody's story out there. In terms of like scaling or anything bigger, I haven't hit that point yet where I would want to do that, but the things that I've done have been successful, so I'm happy about that.
Cool. I think it sounds like you have something that a lot of people dream to have, which is a passion for something. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome. So what do you need to move forward? Is there anything I can do to support you, or do you get this thing to do to support you?
I think advice that what do you see as needed content in the market now, and what medium do you see as most interesting? So you were talking about TikTok. What other venues do you think are going to be the most useful for people to tell their story?
Well, I mean, the truth is, all mediums out there, let's say LinkedIn or TikTok, which seems so different, in the end, they can all be used for everybody's business. I guess it's quite a broad question you're asking, but I think that a lot of it is down to what you can do. So if you're a writer, for example, I'm not. I'm dyslexic, so writing is real weakness for me. But I know when I have pushed myself and, for example, written a blog on LinkedIn, that it gets a lot of traction and people like to read. You know, a blog. I did a blog on how life is the Matrix. You know, like we're actually living in the movie of the Matrix. This is the Matrix we're living in. And I was trying to prove it in an article I wrote on LinkedIn. And it really was very popular. People shared it and loved it. But, you know, I find it very hard to create that sort of content. So it's easier for me to do a TikTok giving some business advice, you know, by just putting the camera in front of my face and telling people what I know, than I do sit down and type out a blog. But I guess what I'm trying to illustrate there is that, you know, if your skill is writing, there are plenty of entrepreneurs like me that definitely need your help.
What's the best way to reach them, do you think? Is it LinkedIn advertising or some other venue?
To be honest, what you're doing here by asking to come on here is not a bad idea, is it? I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of my listeners are entrepreneurs in need of help. I need your help.
Great.
But I think
you have a great story.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, but equally, I think, you know, just thinking, you know, what's good for you. I don't you know, necessarily. I want what's best for you is diving into like what you actually want to achieve out of helping people, right? So is it that, for example, I'm looking at like helping people create their own book. You know, that's a pretty interesting business. I've got a book coming out. I've discovered how complicated it is to, you know, get a book made, get a book edited and so on. You know, that's one way to get the story out. I think probably picking a channel and being a specialist in it could be a really good way. Now, you asked about how to get clients. Now, I think there's two or three ways. One obvious way is, you know, doing what you're doing here, getting out there, saying what you do, and talking to the right sort of audience. The second way, and I think personally the way I've always enjoyed it, is referrals. So, you know, you only need 3 clients to get a business to scale. If you look after 3 clients, like I had an agency business, and our first 3 clients, we really worked hard and looked after them. So once they were happy and all set up, and it was all, we'd proven ourselves to them, they became our biggest ambassadors. So, you know, I could shout out to who those people are, but I remember them, you know, very well, because we worked really closely with them. And then we, you know, they would then, I asked them, would you please go and tell your network in the business community about us and about what we've done? And they did. Not only that, we then also built case studies that they would give us good quotes on. We took pictures. We would then send them to clients that we wanted to work with. So it wasn't us saying we were great. It was, you know, Olivia Legrand, who was head of Wall Street Journal, now head of LinkedIn Brazier, saying that we were great as an organisation. So I think that's the strategy I like, referral. I mean, there is always, I don't particularly like paid advertising in this space, because I think in the service business, if I see an ad on Google, for example, and search, I'm always skeptical. Because I'm personally like, you know, they have to pay to be noticed on Google, then they're doing something wrong. And so I always believe the best way to win clients is have an existing client as a flagship client that you can say, look what I did for that client. And I do think written word, SEO is still important. It's getting less important, but it's still important. If you want to get noticed, then written content's important, because the search engine system spiders still pick up on words to find out what the content's about. So, you know, if you can help an entrepreneur get high up on search and help get their story out, and you can help be a part of their success, then I think that will easily lead to more work. It's a patient approach. It's not, you know, pay Facebook and get loads of clients in your funnel. But I hate funnels. Even the word funnel, I hate it. I feel like you're trapping people into a system. It's not the way it should be. Sales is about being sincere, and you come across that way. So that's my quick view on it. Is it useful?
That's very helpful, especially staying away from the funnels, because that's not something that I'm very good at either. And I have a couple of clients who can give me really good referrals, so I'm happy about that. And so that approach, I think, is much better.
Yeah, and case studies. Don't overlook case studies, because clients will refer you, but you also need to be proactive.
Okay.
And if you have a good case study of someone, you know, who you did well with, and they've got inside that case study a quote about you, and then you've got stats and proof, that's really powerful. The clients love case studies, and I think it's a good way of winning new business. Great,
I like it. Thank you so much, Simon. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem. No problem. So where are you based?
Michigan.
Oh, okay. And how did you hear of us?
TikTok.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah, I follow your content really closely. I think it's amazing. And your story is amazing.
Oh, thanks.
I know you've had dyslexia. You were homeless at 15. And I think it's a really inspiring story.
Oh, thanks so much. Well, is there anything I could be producing that I'm not, that you guys need?
I think more of how I think what's missing is, to be honest, how you came to be homeless at 15, and then how you came to, I know you talk about work ethic and working hard, and nothing else matters but that project, but the psychology of how you came to make the key decision that turned your business around, or that really the key decisions of your life. Because when I look at other people who've done well, and I have a friend who was homeless she was kicked out at 15, it's the key turning points when she got a job as a hairdresser, and the hairdresser told her about the bank. And, you know, she took every opportunity, and how people can see and recognize opportunities, I think, is great.
Yeah, fair. And I know what you mean. I think sometimes the stories are longer than 60 seconds. So
it's true.
That's the weakness of TikTok. Although I've heard TikTok are going to start doing 3-minute videos. And I personally hate the 1 part 1, part 2, part 3 things that people do on TikTok, because I feel like I have to go scrolling for the next one, or it just feels like a way of getting me to stay on the system. So I've always, you know, the story itself, but yeah, that in itself is definitely a good point. Now, I think people telling you how they did it. Now, the key decision point you're making, by the way, is a really interesting point. Decision stuff. The truth is, out of all the decisions I've ever made, the key is making a decision, because you don't know often when you make a decision whether it's right or wrong. Hindsight's wonderful, but But if it fails, you're wrong. You'll learn something. If it works, then you often learn less. But great. You just need it to work more than it fails. And so I have made decisions that have gone wrong, and I've made decisions that have worked. I always say, it's good luck or bad luck, right? But depending on how you view if it's good luck or bad luck. But decisions for me, the key is just make them. So many people spend too long thinking about things.
Did you have one mentor or two mentors in your life that guided you or changed anything for you?
Kind of. I mean, I think because I was so young when I started out the entrepreneurial journey, I didn't even know the word mentor at 15. Mm-hmm. I didn't even understand. I don't know if there were such things, back then, or just, I felt like, in the 90s, it was just like, get on with it. And I knocked on doors and tried to sell a gardening service, and people said no, and I learned to say it better, and eventually someone said yes, and then I did the contract wrong and learned to do it better. There wasn't YouTube, and in a way it was better that way. I think as a human being, you learn by doing. Sometimes reading doesn't really teach you the nuances of it, yeah, but I think the process of making mistakes teaches you to listen to your gut more and your brain less, and just kind of make a decision and live with it, follow through on it. That's been my experience with any sort of learning. But no, I mean, I had two kind of mentors, one bad, one good. My older brother was actually my mentor, but it turned out his moral code is not great. And so I actually accidentally learned some bad things from him. And it wasn't until later when I met my now wife, who I would consider one of my mentors, who kind of showed me the right way. And so my wife is actually my mentor. And we worked together for 10 years. And I really respect her. And she's very honest and very authentic and very smart. And I know that she's been my mentor, really. But when I was younger, I never even knew what that word meant. So I had people that were kind to me. I had no money, and someone gave me £5 to eat one night. I'll never forget those people. But they weren't mentors. They were just people that stepped in moments when I was hungry and helped me. I think a mentor is actually a big deal. A lot of people ask me to be their mentors on TikTok and stuff, and I'm both honoured, but equally, it's a big commitment to be someone's mentor, because I feel like I've mentored 5 people in the last year. They've become friends, you get very close and very personal. To mentor someone properly, you really need to know everything about them. And so it becomes it's not just like, ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. Mentorship is something quite intense. And that's why I think, I've been able to do it by my wife, because we, of course, spend so much time together. And I admire people that mentor people and aren't married to them, because it requires a lot of effort.
I like that your wife is a mentor. That's a rare story.
Yeah, and I think we've been together 20 years, and I still love her as much as ever, if not more.
That's lovely.
Yeah, but anyway, do you have a mentor?
I have a couple of mentors. Yeah, and they're very funny and very thoughtful, and I just really like them. I wouldn't say I'd call them for every single thing, but I have plenty of friends who do that. And yeah, I'm blessed to know a lot of really great people.
Well, law of attraction and all that.
Well, thank you so much, Simon. This is great. I appreciate it.
Pleasure to meet you. I'll see you on TikTok.
Great. Thank you. I'll see you later.
Bye. Hi, Gail.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you for this. Well, thank Talia for this, actually. It was a bit of a surprise.
I've got to thank Talia for a lot of things. For my listeners that don't know, Talia is literally the person that makes everything work in the Purposeful Project. So, she's awesome. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yes, it's not the easiest time for anybody generally at the moment, and I'm sort of early stage business, so pre-seed business, going round doing sort of investment rounds, and you can imagine that's also not easy in the current climate, and people are a little bit nervous about making investments right now. So yeah, it's a test of resilience, but that is the name of the game, isn't it? So yeah,
Totally. if it helps, it's never been easy to raise money.
Yeah.
People that are investing always, there's always something that is a good excuse to wait. There's always something. I actually think now more than ever, it's actually a good time to raise money. People are raising money on Zoom. I mean, when I've raised money, I've had to go like 6 countries and have 10 meetings. Now you can just jump on Zoom and have a chat with someone. It's kind of like, yeah, I'll let you know or no, right? I mean, but you know, there will always be caution. There's always something. Trump just got in, or there's a financial crisis, or you know, there's always something. Brexit, right? I mean, there's always something. It just everything seems to trump the next thing, literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's raising money has never been easy, and another thing people always say, "Oh, raising money in England's hard." Well, you know, frankly, raising money in San Francisco is hard. No one's just throwing money at you as soon as you walk through the door. Don't believe the headlines. It's never easy. But what are you doing?
So, well, we're doing it's something called a marketplace game. So we're playing in the fashion resale space, and we're bringing together kind of the old school marketplace, eBay, and bringing gaming into it to make it much more interactive and sort of engaging experience. So if you think about something like eBay, and there are loads of resale platforms that have launched over the last few years, they're all structurally the same. The structure hasn't really changed since eBay launched 25 years ago. And what people say, and I know from my own experiences, they're really transactional. You go on them, you have to search for a long time to find anything. You often don't get what you think you're going to get. People find they don't make much money on them. So they don't really work. And we can see they're not working because there's just tons and tons of clothing being thrown away each year. So I wanted to find a better way of doing it. And we thought, well, let's look to the gaming industry and how do they make things sticky? How do they get people to keep coming back? So we've built this new model that takes a lot of proven gaming mechanics to turn this into something that will be like a daily sort of interactive platform rather than something that people dip in and out of. So it's a really interesting way of doing things, and a whole sort of, you know, I'm quite familiar with the marketplace world and brands and building businesses, but gaming is not something that I do myself particularly. There are 3 boys in the house that do it quite a lot, but so it's a whole new world that I'm sort of learning about, which is really interesting. But with the whole thing comes a whole new set of challenges. So we're finding from investors that what's the hook, the thing that they're really interested about, the fact that it's bringing together marketplaces and gaming is really interesting, but it's also really scary for them. So if we talk to a gaming investor, they're like, yeah, we understand the gaming part of it, but we don't know the marketplace bit, and vice versa. So we're finding that we're falling between 2 stools. We're getting through the door because it's interesting, but then we're falling through the middle, and it's a really tricky thing to know what to do about and who is the right kind of investors to approach, because it needs somebody who's brave and knows that this hasn't been done before, and they're happy to take a chance on it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, there's a few things that jump into my mind around it, more like a debate than saying an answer to your problem. But if you have, I mean, the most important thing is not really what the investors think, but you've got the ability to do it, right? I mean, you've got the branding and marketing side, and I'm assuming you've got a partner in who knows the gaming side, right? So you've got the structure to achieve the objective. I think the investor doesn't. Investors generally, I mean, they fall into different categories, right? Like someone like me, for example, I actually don't invest in particular. I would never say what you just said. Those investors are saying. I don't need to know the space to know whether or not 2 people in that who are doing that business can make it work. It's a bit like Elon Musk. I'm sure we're like, no, you know what, Elon, we don't invest in space, but we do invest in cars. So we'll do the cars, but we're not touching the space thing, because we don't know it. No, all the investors with Elon Musk are with Elon Musk, right? So I kind of feel like if you take that stance a bit, it is more generic than though. Maybe you are going after very niche investors, but maybe don't do that. Broaden it a little bit. I equally think that another strategy around it could be if you go and see who is investing in gaming, and I can think of a few people, and you think of the people that are investing in marketplace, and then you kind of say you've got both, plus you've got the team to execute both, you might make both investors feel comfortable. It's kind of chicken egg. Definitely in sales there's an art to this, but it's kind of like, oh, these people are really interested and they're specializing in the gaming side, and these people are really interested and they specialize in the marketplace side. So in other words, you've got a complete circle. So those investors then, you have to cover the base between them, and then you as a team are covering the base, then it should work.
Yeah, and that's definitely our approach. It would be nice to have somebody on both sides. I think part of the difficulty is, so we're obviously pre-seed, and we're looking to raise 800,000, which is a lot for a pre-seed round, which is leading me to approaching more VCs than I would normally want to do at this stage. And understandably, they're the ones that are a bit like, well, this is not a proven model, let alone a proven business. So they're quite jumpy about it, and generally they're sort of saying, well, what you need is angels. Well, I know that, but it's not as straightforward as going to a list and going and approaching a list of angels. So I wondered if you'd got any thoughts on what's the best way to find them, because I'm doing things like approaching angel groups, but it seems to me that it's much more the sort of the individual contacts that bear fruit for pre-seed businesses, and I don't have them. So it's about my networking, and I'm not sure what the best way to go about that is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few low-hanging fruit elements to this. I know sales is somewhat a dirty word these days. I love sales, by the way. I think sales done properly can build incredible relationships, incredible businesses. I absolutely love sales, but raising money is a sales job.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much experience you have in sales. Do you have much experience in sales?
No, I mean, I've done commercial roles, but I've always been more on the marketing side than the sales side. Yeah,
and I elevated myself to marketing person over the years. I much prefer the terminology, but I think sales is basically a relentless exercise. And it doesn't matter what the business is, and everybody who's ever raised lots of money will tell you this. It is a volume game.
Yeah.
And volume isn't necessarily mass marketing. Volume is, you meet someone, they say no, you ask them to refer to someone that could. You meet them, they say no, you ask them to refer to someone that could. That relentless and follow up. And there are a lot of things that go on inside the investment world, which I find odd. Like sometimes investors will say no to someone just to see how persistent they are in following up.
Right.
Like this is the whole thing about that they say no to 10 people that want the job as a CEO of a car company, only to see if that person will just keep going to get the job. So they said no to everyone. And someone online now is saying sell me this pen. That sort of stuff. I really hate The Wolf of Wall Street, actually, a moral code movie, but as a cult movie, I quite like it. But the sales process in there, I hate the ethics, but the process is right, which is about a kind of persistent approach and understanding the people you're talking to and what they want. So many people go and say, "This is our business. Do you want to invest?" That's not the way. The way is to go and say, "Tell us about what have you just finished your fundraising round? When will your fundraising round be done? Okay, and how much have you raised? Okay, and what sort of businesses are you investing in? Oh, okay. And why are you investing in those businesses? Oh, right." And then it's, adapting your pitch, not changing who you are, definitely not. Adapting your pitch so the language is the same as them, right?
Yeah.
And actually, if it's not, don't sell to them. They don't need a pen. Don't sell them a pen. Don't waste your time. Ask them for a lead of someone that will, want your pen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but on a practical side, because that's a bit more. I mean, there's a couple of things you can do. You can take up a sales role. You're a very capable person. Sales is just a process. I've got plenty of videos on sales that you can watch, but sales is just a process, and anyone smart can do it. It's just you've got to be relentless, just like anything else, which I'm sure you are when you focus on something quite relentless. But that's what you've got to be.
Yeah.
You've got to have a good sales software, and you've got to be permanently on it. Who am I speaking to today? It's a numbers game. You speak to 100 people, 2 people be interested. It's like that. And it's a bit annoying because what you want to do is meet 3 people and one of them say yes. That might happen, very rarely though.
Yeah, I think I'm obviously experiencing the relentlessness of it. I think the bit I need to do more of is the persistence. So it's knowing when is the right time to step back. So I think I'm probably too accepting of a no. And if I don't get a response, I think, well, I'll follow up, but then maybe I won't follow up again after that. And it's sort of thing, well, you know, they've had 3 emails from me. That's enough now. Or I've approached them in 3 different ways. But
yeah, but very honest of you. Very important to recognise that mistake. And you know, the stats on sales always fascinate me. You know, like the good salespeople out there, good salespeople, and I think good is the enemy of great, right? I'm not being arrogant, but I have weaknesses. I can't spell. But as a salesperson, I'm pretty good, and I consider myself, you know, a great salesperson. And the difference is, a good salesperson will, on average, reach out to someone 5 times before they give up, right? So just like you said, maybe they meet them, I haven't got time now, and you follow up again. They say, not right now, it's not for us. And then you follow up one more time, and they say, could come back to me in a month. And then eventually it goes cold, or you like, they're not interested, and you give up, right? When I started my agency business, Fluid, I wrote down the 50 companies I wanted to work with, 50. It took me 9 years to get all 50 clients on board. And I spoke to every single one of those clients every month for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
I would always have a reason to talk to them, whether it was like to wish the person a happy birthday, or to share some article I've just seen about BMW and what they're doing that I thought would be interesting to their competitors, or I would send them a Christmas card or a Chinese New Year gimmick, or I'd always every month have a reason to check in with those people, and I was patient. And I think it's not so easy when you're raising funds, because there's a timeline. And sometimes when I'm advising in this way, I will say, like, sometimes you put so much energy into raising money. If you put the same energy into building the business, you don't need to raise the money. Now, I don't know why, but you know, I have raised money by hiring people that invest in the company with me, for example. You know, so building the team and also adds value to an investor who then wants a piece of the action. If you're very early on, it's much harder. You're going to have to talk to 200 people to get one person interested. Whereas if you've got a team, you're up and running, you've got 100 users, you're only going to need to speak to 100 people to get one person interested, right? So that's the other dynamic of sales. If you can create desire, kind of like the nightclub rule, you know, there's a queue outside to get in, you know, you want that. What you don't want is an empty nightclub. I'm saying, please come in and have a drink. You know, it's, you know, it's these analogies worked before COVID, I think. But you know, but I think it's the other way to do it is to bring in someone to do it for you. And there's a lot of people around right now that don't have work, not because they're not good, but because of what's happening in the economy. You know, just posting on LinkedIn, we're looking for someone to help us raise the money, and see what pops out. Kind of got nothing to lose. If you can hire one person who has relationships, has contacts, and can do it, then that can be a lot easier than running around trying to do it yourself. Yeah, I mean, my podcast guest on Friday is Stepan Galatz. He's the VC for the Dragons on Dragon's Den. He does all the deals for the Dragons. You know, there's plenty of good people around. I think you got to be very succinct in your request. And so, is this an online platform that you're building?
Yeah.
Someone's asking. It is. Yeah, it's an online platform. People are asking a few questions. It is an online platform. Okay. So there'll be no physical element to it. It's all going to be online, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's real clothes, but an online platform. Right,
and you have you have a tech person on board building the tech piece, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you sound like you've got a lot of the pieces in place.
Just not the money.
You can also list on sites like Angel List. Do you know Angel List?
Yes, I do.
Are you listed on?
Sorry, say that again.
Are you listed on there? Have you listed your business on there?
No, I'm listed on another one, another Angel one. Yeah, it's sort of working out where to focus, isn't it?
But these things don't take long.
No.
And once it's up, then you can seed it. I mean, for example, if you put it on Angel List and then tag me as an advisor, all my network will then see that I become an advisor on your business. And if you can get people to kind of just chip in and support, then the network can see it, right? Plus, what's great about platforms, like there's many of them, but platforms like Angel List I particularly like, because you can see who the investors are, you can see what they're investing in, and it's quite accessible, and it doesn't cost anything. It's literally one evening of your time. And that you know, that it could, and that's what it's like, you know, like David Ogilvy, the agency guy, used to always say 50% of what I spend on marketing is lost. I just don't know what 50%, right? You know that quote, and you've heard it a million times. But you know, I think in sales it's a similar thing. You know, like you've got to put 100 seeds out there for one or two to strike. So one of them would be tonight. After this, just go on Angel List, put your profile up there, and just try to seed it in the system. You know, it might turn into that investor out of the blue. Put a post up saying you're looking for someone to invest. Not only might someone come on and say they want to help you, an investor might accidentally pop up and say, actually, you know, I'm interested in this. It's just about being as proactive regularly as you can. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, makes sense. I think it's just got to keep going, haven't you? Just keep trying.
Yeah, I think so. And that's why, if you really believe in it, you kind of there's no giving up really. It's just delaying whatever you wanted to spend the money on. What is the money for? What will you spend it on?
To build the platform. So we need to build our MVP. So we've got a sort of a game design, and we know that the individual elements of that design work, but putting it together is going to take a bit of money to build.
I'm just throwing it out there. You know, it's easier. Can't you get 2 or 3 programmers who have just been laid off from Airbnb on board as shareholders, partners, to build it as part of the investment?
Yeah, potentially. I am talking to game developers as well, so that is another.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. You know, there's the whole story of the guy at Facebook who painted the first wall at Facebook. He took equity, I think it was 1% instead of a fee for painting the walls at the first Facebook office. He made $200 million US. Yeah. So what would he have charged to paint the wall? $2,000, $3,000? Mark Zuckerberg said to him, "Do you want 1% of the company, or do you want, you know, this fee?" He said, "I'll take 1% of the company." He made $200 million, and I think that today is quite, you know, again on platforms like AngelList, it's very easy just to say, you know, we're looking for this type of programmer to do this type of thing. We will give equity in the business. Now I know it might sound like, you know, you just want the cash, but that is probably easier in my mind. And then you get someone who's locked in, invested. You're not just paying them money and they'll go when it's no longer, you know, being paid.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your advice.
You're very welcome. I hope that it works out. And if you've got a deck, you can send it to us. I'm happy to have a little look over it, see if I spot any obvious mistakes. Because again, sometimes with investors, they'll do this thing I've seen a lot. It's called "you're too tall for radio." You know this joke? No. People go for an interview at a radio station, and then they don't get the job, and the letter says, "Sorry, you have not got the job because you're too tall for radio." In other words, they don't actually tell you what the real problem is because they don't want to offend you, or they don't want to get sued. But I'll know if I look at your deck what might be wrong. So if you want to send it over, I'm happy to have a look. I will do. That would be great. Thanks. So send it to Talia. Yeah, send it over to her. We're meeting up Thursday, so I'm happy for us to have a look over that. So I'm just checking in my network if anyone's got any points or questions. Let me just read what's going on. So someone's actually saying give equity to a developer. Yeah, okay. I think I've asked Sharon, I'm ahead of you, so thanks for that. John, how does the clothing and gaming come into it? Do you want to get into a little bit of the detail of it? People are asking, but don't feel you have to. Yeah, no, I'd love to. How does it actually work then? How does clothing and gaming work together? So the gaming aspect, the idea is that people come to play the game to complete missions. And the missions could be related to finding a certain kind of clothing, or we label items as rare or common items as well. So it could be finding a rare item. And the idea by doing this is that you get to explore what's available, and also you get to interact with other people on the site. And as you complete missions, you get given rewards. So rewards could be vouchers for a retail partner. There could be more points, more tokens for you to use in the system to buy clothes with. And
the other thing is that everything's done through a token system, so it's completely free. You don't pay us a fee, and you don't pay in money for the items of clothing either. They're converted into a token system, so it's kind of like an old-fashioned barter system, if you like. You're using your stuff as payment for something else. And then the other aspect is that because it's a sustainability platform, we track the carbon footprint of everything that you're doing, and that carbon footprint is then converted into offsets that can be cashed in. So there's a reward structure built in for people being sustainable when they use the platform.
Someone's saying,
sorry?
Someone's saying, I thought of something similar just with traveling. So yeah, everyone's got an idea.
Yeah. But nobody's done the carbon footprint thing in fashion because it's a bit more complicated to track.
Yes.
So I think that will be the first time that's been done as well. And we're having to put a specific methodology in place to enable that to be tracked.
Really interesting. I mean, people like North Face would be, I mean, aren't they, was it North Face, the New Zealand company that really is, they did an advert for their own clothing saying, don't buy this jumper. Did you see that?
Yeah, Patagonia, I think Patagonia, it was.
That's one. Yeah. Sorry, totally wrong band. But, you know, someone like them investing in you would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So we have been talking to retail partners. So I'm going straight for the jugular. I'm going for fast fashion retailers. So I'm having conversations with H&M and supermarket retailers as well.
I just feel like they're less ethical. They'd be scared.
That's kind of the point, I think.
I know. But I think with an ethical partner, there's a brand called Oatly. Do you know it? Drinks brand called Oatly. They do oat milk.
Yes.
They're all about you shouldn't drink milk because it's bad for the environment, cows farting and all that. And then they got investment from an evil corporation, and half their clients stopped buying their product.
I know.
So there is something to be said about actually working, alongside. Anyway, both ways can work. It's good you're thinking that way. I do think the other angle you made me think of on this is, and I know at first when I say this, I think I know what you're going to think, but I'm going to say it anyway. Like, I know someone very senior at eBay that you could talk to. You're going to say they might steal my idea, aren't you?
Well, we've been throwing this one around because eBay is an obvious one for me, because they've just not, to be blunt, they've not moved with the times, and they are definitely losing out in this area. Everyone's taking their sort of share of the fashion pie. So I had thought that this could be an interesting thing for them. I just wasn't sure. I mean, to me, it made sense to build it first and then have a conversation with them, not to talk to them about building it. But I'm interested in your view on that.
By the way, one of my followers on here, Mike, he's a big eBay guy. He knows how it all works. Actually, he should advise you a bit. I think he'd be quite useful.
That would be great.
Anyway, I trust the person at eBay that I'm thinking of, and I think it's worth having a conversation with him about it. It's always a risk. I don't think it is a risk with the person I'm thinking of, but I don't want to put you in harm's way. It's your decision. But I think that you see, these companies can't innovate. A lot of people, I've seen it time and time again. I mean, I have disrupted these companies. And actually, when I first started, it was like I went to the company I'm about to disrupt and say, this is what I'm going to do. And they can't copy us. They can't move fast enough. They're stuck in their ways. But actually, the way these companies are now surviving, look at, Google is buying up like 20 companies a week. That's how they're innovating. They can't do it internally, even Google. So there is something to be said about it, where they do a seed investment in you and hedge their bet. And they buy the whole thing. Okay, fine. They have an option to do that. I think it's worth having a conversation with them.
Yeah, great.
So why not? If you want to, if you feel comfortable, then I can send you the LinkedIn profile of the person I trust there, and then you can make a decision. If you want, I can introduce you. That
would be amazing. Thank you.
All right then, cool. Well, we'll be in touch then, I guess. You send over the deck, and then let me know about this eBay thing, and I'll send you the contact. You can have a think about it, and then I can make that from there. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Do listen to Stefan. Do listen to Stefan's podcast on Friday. Mm-hmm. He is a VC, and he works with high net worth individuals who could invest £800,000 by accident in you and not realise it. So you should listen in on Friday to his insights. So I think it'll be interesting for you.
Great, will do. Thanks a lot.
Wonderful. Nice to meet you. Bye. There we go, folks. I hope you found it interesting today. We're now moving over to Discord. We have a load of questions on Discord of people wanting help, but I'm going to stop the broadcast now because when I open up Discord, the bandwidth goes and the camera quality drops. So if you guys want to join on Discord, please click the link in the bio or in the broadcast below. And so I'm heading over to Discord now to answer questions there, which is a gaming platform, by the way. So we've modified to take questions and support people who have questions and don't want to come on camera to ask them. So heading over there now. If you found today's content useful in any way, do me a favor, help me hack that algorithm, hit the like button, hit the share button. This broadcast will now go live on all the platforms and available for anyone that wants to listen in later. So do me a favor and share wherever you are listening. I'd really appreciate it. It lets the algorithm know that this content could be useful to you. People like you, so that would really mean a lot to me. We put a lot of time and trouble into this platform to get people useful information, so the more people that see it for free to help them. A lot of the questions that the entrepreneurs have asked this evening are questions a lot of people out there have, so do me a favor and share it. If you have a question, you can still ask in the comments and we will reply over the next few days, or you can join us now over on Discord. Otherwise, I am live again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We have a fantastic purpose-driven entrepreneur, Alex, who runs a business called, a charity really, called Beam. It is a business, it is a charity, but they help the homeless get a job. They help the homeless get back to work. And so I'm excited to interview him tomorrow and share his story. And after Alex has shared his story, we have another entrepreneur coming on looking for our help. So please join tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Hit that alarm bell so you don't miss out. Put it in your diary. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Otherwise, maybe I'll see you in the next few minutes over on Discord. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening.